This is G-Police. We're here on PlayStation 5. Be sure to like the video. Subscribing is great as well. So this is a 360-degree flying game inspired by Bladerunner, essentially, where you are a police of the future. And this is a Psychonosis game, which is, or was, a major publisher that PlayStation gobbled up back in the day when they went to kind of cement themselves within the gaming industry, which is kind of fascinating if you're looking at it from a historical standpoint. So, like with all these title situations, it's supposed to be 1440p, 60 FPS, and this one does have a host of options that allow you to change the visuals and the style of the game. So as per usual, you can press the start button at any point, and you can rewind time to go back in time. You can also create saves and load saves, settings, visual presets, including modern, classic arcade, and modern arcade. I don't get the point of this. I just default seems to be sort of the go-to, and it doesn't change the visual enough for me to really care. And the default on this one is 4:3 1610. There's also native resolution if you want to go way back. 1:1, which is odd. 4:3 16:9, square pixels, and the wide zoom, which is what we're going to try. It's a little weird, but you kind of get used to that. Then you can customize the button assignments for the game. You can change a region, NTS or NTSC or PAL. And yeah, that's kind of some quick options there. Now the game also has other settings. I've turned off the music because for whatever reason all of the music in this game is copyright claimed by the original composer dude back from about way back in the day, I guess. So that's a fascinating lesson and a waste of me recording the video before. So thanks, that guy, whoever you are. And beyond that, we do have actual in-game settings. So you press the right side of the touchpad, and you can adjust the volume. This actually has like a banger soundtrack, but like, yeah. And then you can change your view, which is pretty cool. So you have full screen, you can have a top-down, you have a drop camera, which is kind of a little bit of like a little bit of a different perspective, not quite third person. Then we have the follow cam, which is basically your third person, and we're just going to use the cockpit setting. Now, there's also a map, so you can see the different areas, and you can see your mission objectives, so you have an idea where you're going and what you're doing, which is kind of cool. And if you go to the game's main menu, you can actually see like a host of other options, which is pretty cool. So the other options you can actually adjust. I guess you would say I don't know how to best describe it. Like you can change the draw distance, the rendering distance, but it adjusts the frame rate, or at least the game claims it adjusts the frame rate. So that in itself is kind of cool if you want to get sort of a more in-depth look at this one, because yeah, honestly, the render distance on this is like not the best. But you're a police officer of the future of this crazy settlement trying to deliver the law, as to say, or complete your objectives. I mean, you do a bunch of police missions. Basically like a glorified helicopter, to be honest. That's
Good work, Slater.
good work. Thank you. So yeah, I'm gonna actually wanting to sort of showcase that. So if we quit, yeah, and we quit and we go to the main menu, we can actually show off what I'm talking about if this thing would. It takes a second to load for whatever reason, and then you can go to options like I was mentioning, and then you can go to graphics setup, so we can actually max out the view distance, but you see how the frame rate little marker drops, and if you do that, you know, it's interesting, it really is. So we're gonna bump up the draw, or the view distance, which is the same as the draw distance, and then we're going to actually start the game and kind of show that off, so that you can see the difference that it makes. Yeah. Tell us the main objective and get us into the action. Yeah. We got our weapon. So this might be a setting that you would want to choose in order to see more of the game, but the other one is the default option. And for the PS5, it is remarkable how slow this old game loads. I imagine it was a true showcase back in the day. Prowl the skylines in your weapons-loaded DASA-Kamov gunship as a member of G-Police. 35 white-knuckle strategic combat flight missions. 51 stunning real-time cityscapes and environments. Tear between, around, and under obstacles like skyscrapers and other cool bridges. In, like, I think it's... what is it, like 2097 or something like that? Again, very Bladerunner-esque. But you can kind of see how this improves the draw distance of the world, so it's not like little tiny panels, as to say, right? Like, it's actually a much more visible landscape, but you can see how that impacts your gameplay experience a bit, which is interesting. So, yeah, those are just kind of your graphical options in this one, which I do find kind of fascinating that this game offered that sort of thing. Because, you know, with these games, they're not, like, they're not really changing it, if that makes sense. They're very much just sort of bumping up the resolution, making the controls and stuff work. They're not really revamping or changing the game. They're basically just straight porting it for the modern era, if that makes sense. So it is interesting that this game had those settings baked into it in a time where on the console side of things, that would be like a very rare kind of occurrence to have that. So I do genuinely find the concept of that to be rather fascinating, that this game did allow for you to adjust settings in that way back then, right? That in itself, to me, is really, truly quite intriguing, and something a little bit different. So yeah, you get a variety of differing missions where your goals are different. Like, you are a police officer, so it's not all about, like, blasting and destroying stuff. Like, there is a little bit more to it. And what I really find interesting about this game, outside of its bumping soundtrack that I can't showcase to you, is the fact that, like, it's so detailed. Like, you see these, we got like little cars coming in. It's amazing how similar but yet different this space station is. But, like, it's just really neat that something at this time had graphical settings that this one did. And that, like, there was lots of traffic and stuff, like lots of little ships flying around, little motorbikes, little cars, lots of different buildings with different adverts. Like, there was actually a lot going on in this situation, which is pretty cool. I think I'm supposed to protect these guys. I left last time, and I got a secondary objective failed for not covering these guys. So I'm kind of curious if as soon as I go, something bad's going to happen. Because, like, yeah, I remember that being a distinct thing last time I did this, was like, oh, you know, and I left, and it's like, oh, you failed the mission to protect and oversee these guys, and it's like, okay. Anyways, let's go and do this next thing. I'm sure you don't want to just you're watching me meander with all this stuff. But it is neat that this game offers so many different ways to kind of, like, play it and change it up a bit, which was, I think, I don't know, maybe I'm just used to console gaming of my times and stuff. Like, I did have a PS1 and a PS2 and that, but wasn't really too caring about graphics and stuff outside of whether or not something looked good, right? So it's neat that this game almost feels so ahead of its time for the element of just, you know, those settings I think are really quite fascinating to me. And it's got some cool combat and some cool flying stuff. Kind of reminds me a little bit of, I guess if you're not familiar with it, was it Forsaken? Forspoken? No, Forsaken, I think. And it's like a game that is kind of like this. It's a game where you're sort of flying around as a little ship thing. And that one was really technically impressive too for its era, because that was sort of early 3D graphics. It's a neat concept to me, playing these types of games, because I do appreciate the technical element of it. Are you what we're looking for? Nope, not that one. Okay, let's keep going. I don't know how in the far future, inside like these space bubble areas, that there's so many of these like rebel things that set up camp. Like, how did this stuff even get like docked and okayed to be in here? Literally does not make sense to me. Sorry, just gonna let you fly by. Just gonna scan you. Totally, you know, a neutral thing that happens all the time.
Innocent, do not destroy.
I won't destroy. Although I don't know why we're destroying like vans and stuff regardless. But I think this really hits the city vibe, like futuristic city vibe. Like it feels like an actual. I guess you would say Bladerunner-esque place, which was what their goal was, right? To create an environment like this.
Control to Alpha 1. We have a positive weapons check. Alpha 1, you are clear to engage. Over.
Die already.
Red Team Epsilon to Alpha Wing. We are under attack. Request assistance. Over. Control to Alpha Wing.
Someone's under attack.
Over. Control to Alpha Wing. Ground Team Epsilon have been eliminated. Over.
That's not good. Oh, we finished the mission. Good job. It's kind of a neat little thing. But we basically are. We're just like a glorified helicopter of the future. I love when you complete the mission, your character just sort of like bumps against like walls and stuff. Kind of entertaining. But yeah, you battle menacing rebel ships in the air. Heavily armored vehicles on the ground. You'll wreak havoc as you take on the hardcore criminal element terrorizing the cities of the 21st century, Callisto. And then you get password stuff. And this is where you do your debrief thing. But yeah, it kind of drove me a little crazy. Because it was like, I think for a second there, it was Jack Stove. It would be like, you failed to protect these people. I'd be like, what? That right there, protect round team Epsilon. I don't know where that is. I don't know if that's by the crates or something else. Anyways, let's continue along here. Ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Forensic and
Just load on your own free time here. It's not like we're in a rush. It's not like I've got anything else going on in my life here, game. And it's just weird that a game this old takes this long to load on the PlayStation. It must be some kind of weird legacy element to it or something, because usually it's really speedy, right? I mean, if you have experience playing these, like, retro classics.
We're on our way. Over. Control to Alpha Wing. You have 2 unidentified craft in your vicinity. Over.
2 unidentified craft?
Team Delta to Alpha Wing. We are under attack. Request assistance. Over. Destroy those fighters before you proceed.
This thing's really tricky. So that's the problem with the render distance, is like you literally just like lose visibility of some things.
Good work, Slater.
Thank you. It's nice that someone's appreciative.
We are on our way. Keep area clear. Over.
I love the element of all these little cars going around on the ground and stuff. It just makes it feel like sort of lived in, if that makes sense. So many of these games at the time kind of struggled with like a sense of scale. Did you guys consider dying? And it is honestly easier to just like sit over here and fire than it is to like rush around trying to chase these things. Just get like nauseated. These missiles aren't very accurate. I feel like we're doing more damage to the city than we are to these vehicles we're supposed to be destroying. Where are they? Where did you go? Yeah, and then you have to find them on the map, and you're like, where are these guys at? What are they doing? And you fly up, and you can't see down. Is that our target? Is there a target on the ground? Where do these guys... See, that's what I'm saying, is I don't like to lose my target. Because then you're like, oh, where are these guys at? We get them? We're moving on. Okay, there we go. I think we lost, like, a police car or two.
We are on our way. Keep area clear. Over.
Oh no, it's just got stuck in traffic. It's amazing that it's actually able to move itself through traffic. That is utterly fascinating to me. It kind of like weaves through like that.
Control to Alpha Wing. You have 2 unidentified craft in your vicinity.
I mean, they look like all the other evil craft. Shouldn't we just start like pulling over all the evil craft that is like very obviously evil rebel craft? It seems like the rebels really like this one type of vehicle. We should maybe not let them like dock or be in this like space station area. I'm just throwing it out there. Why do they always go after the police? Is it because we keep order? Shouldn't they be trying to like bribe us or something? I see you down there. Alright, who's next? Anyone else want some of this? You do, okay. Bam, ain't nothing. Oh, is there another one? I just destroyed like 3 of them. Unless I'm supposed to fly to like another area or something. Did it just pass me? I can't tell if I've got a target I'm supposed to destroy or if I'm supposed to go to a new place. Could be above me.
Good work. Ground Team Delta reporting. We're on our way. Over.
Wonder what that was all about. Yeah, we're basically, we're just like a glorified helicopter. We're just doing like escort missions in the future. But you know, for something of this time, it really is quite impressive. What is that?
Watch out for those turrets, Slater. Friendly fire isn't, Slater.
What?
Red Team Delta to Alpha 1. Red Team in position. Over. Red Team Delta to Alpha 1. 2 suspect vehicles have been observed retreating from rear of
What's happening?
Use your EPP and apprehend them. Over. Control to Alpha Wing. EPP those cars before they escape. Over.
Am I supposed to shoot these cars? They don't seem like civilian cars.
Control to Alpha Wing. You are clear to disable target. Over.
How do I disable these targets?
Control to Alpha Wing. You have 2 unidentified craft in your vicinity. Over.
Over. Over, under. Under, over. I think I was supposed to disable that one.
Take out that fighter now.
What a fighter. There's a fighter? These planes are gonna blow up. Oh, no, that's a civilian vehicle that just looks cool. Do you hate that when the G-Police shoot at you just because you have a cool ride? They think you're a bad guy. Honestly, there's usually such a bumping soundtrack in this. You are so missing out. Crap, was that a civilian vehicle? That might have been a civilian vehicle. Are you shot at? I just see a night sky. Is that a bad guy? That looks like a bad guy, I think. These are both bad guys. Do either of you want to die?